Hello all, welcome to Tech Recess. In my previous video, I had discussed about the basic concept and principle of OAuth and explained the whole flow, how it works. But now if you want to implement OAuth pattern for the APIs, right? Suppose you have multiple APIs and you want to make sure that those APIs are accessed by the authorized APIs only, right? So basically, we are trying to cater to the service-to-service calls, not any human interfaces, only the machine-to-machine calls, right? So for that, let us understand this pattern to implement OAuth. So yeah, so let's see this. So for example, if you have one API and that API want to access some resources on the API 2, but API 2 should be able to authorize API 1 because they don't know each other. Maybe they are working, they are deployed as part of different servers or maybe different organization as well. So to implement OAuth, first thing we need that is basically the OAuth server, right? So now OAuth server is basically playing a central role in this whole pattern. So initially, when API 1, application 1 want to use the OAuth pattern or tokens, right? It has to first onboard itself onto the OAuth server, right? So when it's on board, then this OAuth server will provide the this client ID and client secret, right? So these client ID and client secret is given to the API or application during onboarding, so that whenever API 1 needs to access API 2 or that matter any other API, first it needs to get the token from OAuth server, but it first need to verify its own identity, right? So now suppose API 1 has already been onboarded to this system, and it has this client ID and the client secret. Now it is first step is to send a request to OAuth server. So basically it wants the request token, right, from the OAuth server. So for that, the grant type we are using here is client credentials, and client ID class secret which has been given to this application or API 1 are being sent to the OAuth server. So now OAuth server knows, okay, these ID and class secret are valid, and then generates a token, right? And sends back this access token to the API 1. Now API 1 will going to add this token as part of its headers and send or present this token to the API 2 in order to authorize itself. So now API 2 will receive the access token of API 1. But now how can API 2 believe that this token is valid? So API 2 has the option to validate this token with OAuth server, because there is a server which has given this token to the API 1. So now API 2 is going to present this token to the OAuth server, and then if token which was sent by API 1 to API 2 has been verified or validated by this OAuth server, then API 2 is assured that okay, the API 1 is a legitimate API which has the valid token which was received from OAuth server. So now it will allow access to the resource or to the API 1, right? So in this whole pattern, you can see that they are at the first instance, application which want to utilize this system has to basically onboard. So here, both API 1 and API 2, if they're part of different application, they have to onboard first to this OAuth server system, and they will receive the individual this ID and secret to be able to interact with OAuth server. So once they receive, and whenever APIs want to access any resource in another API or another application, first they have to contact the OAuth server. with their ID and secret, right? And with that verification, OAuth server provide them the access token, and with that access token, they can contact the APIs which they want to access. Now, those APIs which receive those requests, they first need to verify with the OAuth server. So once OAuth server verifies, okay, the token which is sent to you is correct, then only they are authorized to access the resources. So this is a whole pattern for the OAuth, and I have seen this that this is very popular pattern at the enterprise level, like in big software companies, they have like a kind of application like OAuth server, and that caters to the many applications across enterprise, right? Because suppose in your suppose you work in a bank, right? And in a bank, there might be applications for the credit card, deposits, mortgage, right? So rather than having one OAuth server for each of these products, you can create a centralized OAuth server, and that server can be utilized by all the APIs. First thing is that whenever they want to use this OAuth server system, they have to onboard onto that and then get the credentials, right? And then because like centralized system is definitely good because you can utilize resources in a better manner. So this is about the OAuth implementation. So how we can implement OAuth in our system. Hope it was clear. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time. Please leave comments or questions. Please subscribe as well. Thank you.